Hello, this is a video about electromagnets, and at the very simplest level, when you get the current flowing through a wire, a magnetic field is produced around the wire. So any wire that's got current flowing through it, I've just got a simple circuit here, a cell, a wire joined from the positive to the negative. Once that's all working, the current is flowing, we get a magnetic field around that wire. It looks a bit like that. It's like rings around the actual wire, but it's a very weak magnetic field and you can't really detect it in any way. But what you can do in order to make that slightly stronger is just to arrange it a little bit differently. What you would do is you would have your wire in a coil, so coiling it makes it a stronger magnet. You get stronger magnetic field. What you could also do is add an iron core, so have a piece of iron, slide it into the coil there, and that makes it yet a stronger magnet or a stronger electromagnet. You could have more current, you could add more cells here to increase the current, that would make it stronger, and if you had more coils tightly wound around this iron core, it would be stronger still. Now, one very simple use of this is the idea of a crane. We have our electromagnet here, you can switch it on, it will attract anything that's iron and steel. You can then swing it around and put it down, switch off the electromagnet and put it down somewhere else that you might want to put it down. That's one very simple use of our electromagnet. However, what you should be able to do is to interpret diagrams of electromagnetic appliances and explain how they work. So here I've got an appliance that uses an electromagnet. It's often described as a relay, but what I've got is a circuit here that carries our electromagnet, and it seems to be linked in some way to another circuit which I've just very originally labeled another circuit. So what happens in this scenario is we've got let's have a look at the steps. We've got switch 1 circuit, that's not what I meant to write. Switch on circuit number 1, so this is circuit number 1 over here, and once you switch that on with our switch over here, the next thing to happen is the electromagnet carries the current, or the wire around the electromagnet will carry the current. Next step is, oh, it's going all wobbly here, the magnet is switched on, so our electromagnet is switched on, our armature is attracted. So if I was to look at that, here's our armature, it's usually made of iron or steel, and this will be attracted to our electromagnet, so that would then pivot around a point like this, and you can see at the other end it's then going to push these two contacts together. So those two contacts now attach, and you can see now that circuit number 2 is now complete. Let's just label that circuit number 2. That's now complete, and a current can flow through circuit number 2. So the second circuit is switched on, and I think that's all I've got. Last point I wanted to make really is that it's a low current circuit can be used to switch on a high current circuit. So here we've just got a couple of cells. This could even be 6-8 volts maybe, and very safe. You can quite happily touch this switch and it wouldn't be a problem. This circuit on the other hand works on a much higher current, and you don't really want to be touching that if you can avoid it. So a circuit like this with electromagnet used in a relay, you can actually avoid the whole problem of having to touch it. So this is one use of our electromagnet. Here's another very simple use as well. This is for a circuit breaker. So here I've just written rest of circuit. Sometimes I just leave it open like this with a little circle here and a circle here. It doesn't mean the circuit's broken, it means it leads off to another circuit that does whatever. But you could look at this and see what happens. We've obviously must have a power supply here somewhere, but you can see what would happen. We've got electromagnet here. This is supposed to be a circuit breaker. So if we suddenly get a surge in current, what will happen is our little contact here, which is allowing the circuit, currently allowing the current to flow through the circuit, if we get a high surge in current, this electromagnet will be switched on or become stronger. That will be attracted to the electromagnet and the circuit is broken. Fully automated, and works as a safety device using the idea of electromagnets. Okay, so that's an overview of what electromagnets are all about. You should be able to look at a device and work out how the electromagnet is helping in the particular device. But other than that, that's me done. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.